The safety of all workers and animals is very important on the farm. This video will present tips on best practices and safety for various workers in different parts of the dairy. To prevent the spread of disease, it is recommended that you wash your boots before entering the barn. While mostly uncommon, there are a number of diseases that can be transmitted from cows to humans. This is why hygiene is very important. Wash hands with soapy water after working, particularly after handling chemicals, effluent, detergents, or animals. Wash your work clothes regularly. Keep up to date with tetanus vaccinations. Always wear gloves when dealing with diseased or dead animals, animal waste, or chemicals. Treat and disinfect cuts, abrasions, and animal bites immediately. Proper clothing is important. Wear appropriate clothing for your weather conditions. Layers are a good idea. Sturdy work boots with non-slip soles, overalls or long washable pants, shirts without loose cuffs, and hats for outdoor work are recommended. Wear personal protective equipment as recommended by your dairy supervisor. For safety reasons, dairy workers should not be in possession of, consume, or be suffering from the effects of alcohol or drugs. Fire prevention is everybody's responsibility. Fires on the dairy can be caused by cigarette butts, electrical equipment, natural causes, or sparks from welding or torching equipment. Do not smoke on the dairy, in farm vehicles, or inside any other farm buildings. Use extreme caution with extension cords. Report any strange odors or equipment malfunctions to your boss. Do not leave equipment plugged in or running without supervision. Where there is smoke, there usually is fire. Smoke needs to be investigated. When using any equipment that generates sparks, be aware that you can start a fire. Make sure that all sparks are smothered. Know the emergency plan for your dairy. Know the location of fire extinguishers in the dairy. If there is a fire, call 911 and notify your supervisor. Most importantly, make yourself safe. Try to get help. Use a fire extinguisher if you can. Shut down any equipment that you can. Evacuate the animals if possible. Do not re-enter the building once you have evacuated. Dairies use a lot of electrical power, much of it high voltage. The damp conditions found in dairies can increase the danger. Always use care around electrical equipment and breaker boxes. Never touch or lean on an electric box, or hang clothes on them. Touching a breaker can cause severe injury or even death. Properly store extension cords when not in use. Do not run extension cords through walkways or heavy traffic areas. The machine room can present dangers. Moving belts should be guarded or covered at all times. Older equipment may have unprotected belts. These can cause severe injuries if a hand or piece of clothing gets caught in them. Never work on any machinery while it is running. Always switch it off and isolate from the source of power, and make sure that the machinery has stopped. Use a locking device or lockout-tagout procedure when working on machinery so that the machine cannot turn on while it is being worked on. Remember, cleanliness is important. Wash boots before entering the barn. Wear personal protective equipment when appropriate. No drugs, alcohol, or smoking on the dairy. If there is a fire, call 911. Keep yourself safe. Follow the emergency plan. Never work on machinery while it is running. Use lockout-tagout procedures when working on machines. The best way to prevent a fall is to do the job from the ground level. But if you must use a ladder, here are some guidelines for using one safely. Store ladders horizontally. Select a ladder suitable for the job with non-slip runs. Keep the ground and floor clear of equipment and debris. Do not overreach. Do not go beyond the recommended safe step. Keep your ladder close to the job at all times. Maintain 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. Anchor the ladder properly. Ladders should be secured at both the top and the bottom if possible. Remember, select a ladder suitable for your needs. Keep the floor around ladders clear. Do not overreach. Do not go beyond the safe step. Anchor ladders properly. Use 3 points of contact. Move slowly and gently around the cattle to ensure that you don't scare them. Divide cows into small groups to avoid them rushing up and down the area. Wear safety boots. Make sure to close gates after cows move through them to ensure the safety for both workers and animals. Remember, move slowly and gently in pens with cattle. Make sure gates are properly set. Dairy cows are animals with a herding instinct, which means that they learn and adopt behaviors the dominating animals in the herd demonstrate. In this case, cows are being brought to the barn to be milked. Notice how the cow pushers gently urge them along without yelling or hitting the animals. A simple hand on the back or nudge is typically enough to get the animals to move in the direction that they want. Using the herding instinct and a calm, friendly manner is the best way to load animals into a trailer. Notice the paddles these handlers are using. The rattle inside and the strange shape is enough to coax most of the cows in. Remember, be calm and gentle. Use the herding instinct. A gentle touch is usually enough. Lift from a squatting position using your leg muscles rather than your back, and keeping your back straight. Care should be taken when carrying items of an odd shape or those whose contents may shift with movement, such as a bucket of milk or water. If you need to move volumes of milk or water around the dairy, it is better to split the amount between two buckets. Remember, when lifting, use your leg muscles. Keep your back straight. Split weight evenly on each side. Cows are more comfortable with herd mates on either side. Use proper restraints when administering treatment. Drugs in use should be kept in the medication room and checked out for usage. Wear gloves at all times when administering a vaccine or medication. When using veterinary chemicals, always follow label instructions. Be respectful of withholding times. Always follow proper treatment protocol designed for your dairy. All empty drug or vaccine bottles and sharps are to be disposed of in suitable bins. Do not leave bottles or sharps lying around ledges or shelves. All needles, scalpels, lancets, broken glass, sharp tips, and other small objects that might puncture the skin must be placed in sharps containers. Treatment records must be maintained at all times. Wash hands immediately following administration. When checking cows for heat, care must be taken in approaching the cow. Position yourself to avoid being kicked. Notice the worker does not stand directly behind the cow he is chalking. It is recommended to wear protective knee gear and steel-toed boots when conducting heat checks. Remember, cows are more comfortable with herd mates. Use proper restraints when treating a cow. Always wear gloves when administering medication or vaccines. Always follow label instructions and follow proper withholding times. Dispose of empty drug bottles properly. Always dispose of needles in sharps containers. Wash hands after giving medication or vaccines. When checking cows for heat, care must be taken in approaching the cow. Position yourself to avoid being kicked. Dairy bulls should always be considered dangerous. Always know where the bull is. Have an escape route. Report aggressive bulls. Never consider a bull safe. Remember, never trust a bull. Dairy workers will encounter a down cow from time to time. A cow that has gone down is not necessarily a lost cause. With appropriate care, many will stand again and become productive members of the herd. There are many reasons for downed cows. They can be due to calving accidents, sickness, or injury. No matter what the cause is for a cow to go down, it is important to keep several things in mind. First and foremost, the longer a cow is down, the less likely her chances become of ever getting back up again. It is critical to get her standing as soon as possible. If she lays down too long, permanent nerve damage could result. Lifting should be done under the supervision of the herdsman. And those involved in lifting should be trained in equipment used. Slings are effective tools if you have 3 or 4 people available. Generally, the canvas is laid down on the ground, workers roll the cow onto it, and crank up the canvas under the cow. The animal should be lifted, allowing her to find her feet, then lowered gently to the point she either starts to bear weight or begins to collapse. Another way to move a downed cow is to use a front-end loader. With 2 or 3 people, roll the cow from the ground into the loader. A flotation tank may be the answer for some downed cows. Water is used in a large tank to float the cow to an upright position. A downed cow in treatment should have feed and water. Despite all efforts, there may come a time that an animal has to be put down. When euthanasia is required, safe, humane methods must be used. Preferred methods use either the captive bolt stunner or a gun. Consult your vet about the right method for your situation. Remember, a downed cow is not a dead cow. Cows must get back on their feet as soon as possible to avoid permanent nerve damage. Cows can be saved by using slings or flotation tanks. When euthanasia is required, safe, humane methods must be used.